district in the board.
The only supervisory position is the state attorney general.
But it can be done. I mean, you really have to.
Wait, the only way that they can do it is if they violate one of the Act 1s, which you guys don't do. You're just making bad decisions. You're not making that decision. At the same time, when you guys pushed Kraky out and paid for him to go home, and the Auditor General slapped you on the wrist to say, hey, you're not supposed to do that with our state money, and they paid it anyway and settled the court case out of court using taxpayer money, that was the closest to the violation. But Schwab circumvented that with you guys because of it.
Let me go on record to say something here. I never pushed Kraky out, and I don't believe, because I was at Attorney Schwab's office with Mr. Orner the day we got the news that Mr. Kraky retired. But there was no official, we're going to get rid of him.
Yeah, there's depositions going on because he was harassing the girls in the office. Now wait,
well, okay, we can talk about that, because I've held that information and asked those people that I have, as when I was vice president of the board, my job was to seek out any indiscrepancies that were going on in here. And the reason I was at Attorney Schwab's office that day was to meet with 6 of the employees of this school district. And you probably know that because they probably said something. And I've held that information saying to them that some of them were Act 93 and some of them were union.
Right.
My comment to them was, as also a union person, if you have a definite defined right against people, file the grievance, take them to task. And I will back you as a board member with your information that you have with me. That never occurred. So we never moved forward with that. So that's where we're at with that. You know, I honestly.
But he was causing trouble.
Yes, he was. Right. I don't disagree with that. But there was never. I never was in a conversation with any board member to push him out of here. You know, to say let's fire him, let's get rid of him. I don't remember that. You know.
Did you go to PDE? After Frank and I went to PD and said, hey, look, you got to get Kraky up there in front of this guy's at PD. Were you in that car ride?
The car ride where we went out
to PDE.
To meet with Paul Vogel.
Yeah.
I was in that.
Jim Vogel.
Jim Vogel,
and on the way back, were you in the same car?
Well, that was already when he was leaving. I mean, or at least he was in the process of leaving, which we didn't know.
Right.
Was I in the car? Yes, I was. There wasn't much communication after that meeting because of what we found out there as board members. I came back, and I got to tell you personally, I was pretty damn pissed as to what I found out there when I saw the plans laid out on the table in front of me for the first time.
We'll get into a lot.
And let me get back to when I was brought on the board, and Jim Kraky took me to the Beacon Diner and proposed we're going to build an elementary school plan. You know what my answer back to him was? I don't think it's going to happen in this school district. End the conversation, let's talk about something else. How about that one?
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm coming from.
That.
I'm not too far off of what you people, because I'm getting sick and tired. I live over there, and I don't think I can give my property to my 2 kids that they can afford to live on my property 20 years from now.
They can't.
You know, so, you know, I've had a bad school day. I'm liable to lose it.
And if they close the school, your property, Hal, if they close the local,
I gotta fix it tomorrow.
Hal,
yeah, I'm just saying.
If they close the local school, hold on.
They closed. I mean, they absolutely got rid of every board member up at North Schuylkill. It could happen.
No,
but I know where you're at with the Act 1. Look, if anybody knows school code, one of the things that I did when I became a teacher 28 years ago, I sat down, and I think that school code of 1949 is antiquated. They've updated it in the Department of Ed numerous times. But I can tell you some things about the school code that it needs to be fixed out in Harrisburg.
But hold on, so it's antiquated. Did they throw it out and start a new one, or did they fix it?
No, they've been updating it like in 1970 or 1988.
Our schools are newer than that code.
No.
Jay Conner will tell you.
Let's
move this forward.
Yeah, it still exists.
Right, but they didn't throw it out.
No.
And I don't want to throw out these schools either. We can fix them. Jake will mention, I believe, right? Your data was, as a real estate guy, that if there's a local community school, the real estate values inside of that area are greater than if there's not a local school in that area.
Well, absolutely, and the people and the kids like it a lot better.
Right, but they're not.
Okay, go ahead, move on, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
get you through it, okay.
That's okay.
As a businessman, we live in a world of facts. If we try to lie to ourselves, even once, or hide from the fact, numbers will find us and destroy whatever lies we've told ourselves.
I'm very offended that I came to this presentation to listen to facts.
Okay.
And the only thing you've done for the first 15 minutes is criticize everything that has happened in the past and where we're going right now. If you want to present facts, okay, present facts.
They are. We'll get to
These
them.
are opinions. They're opinions by you and a group of people, okay? And you know that's not true.
Do you or do you not have the right to decide what the dress code is?
The whole board does. That's policy.
Thank you. That's policy. Thank you.
That's
So,
board.
watch how it works.
That's the board, not Gloria Bowman. So you know that. The board.
But you get to decide.
I don't get to decide. The board as a whole makes policy.
If you make the motion, what
When I
happens?
do policy, when we have a policy committee, which Mr. Resh sits on, and we come to the board as a whole, I explain every policy as chair of that policy committee. And when we have to make a revision, either the board says, yes, we're gonna make the revision, or we're not.
Okay.
Okay?
I'd
That's
agree.
how it works. It's not Gloria Bowman.
It's anything that stops you from doing that.
If the board agreed.
If the board
Well,
agreed.
when I first came on the board, and I walked into this room the first couple times, there seemed to be a policy in executive session to predetermine how the votes were going to happen out on the main floor. Now listen to me completely. But Hal Resh went home one night and said, "Gee whiz, you know, I don't have to vote yes for everything, you know, and be because I don't agree with everything." And I think I fooled a couple board members a couple times when I voted. First time I abstained on a vote because I wasn't sure I didn't have enough information. And then I realized abstaining around here is sort of like a bad thing because you got to write your whole life history down as to why you abstain. And then I figured, you know, and I've been president of many boards myself personally over the years, even union president in our school. I realized, you know what, I don't need to vote yes anymore. And that's when I would go home and read the facts. Now hear me out. I would get my board agenda on a Wednesday, read it, sort of skim it. But then over the weekend, on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'd sit down and I'd thoroughly read it and make a decision as to how I was going to vote based upon the agenda and the agenda items. My decision before I even came into any executive session, and when I started voting no, some board members absolutely pulled me to the side and said, "Why are you doing it?"
They're terrible. They're actually terrible to me the way that this district let them schools go for 20 years.
To be erected at each elementary school, honoring the great sacrifice of the men of the region that died in the Vietnam War, for which the JEriCHo plan was named. For without their ultimate sacrifice, free men like us and the JEriCHo team would not be helping the community. We wouldn't even be here. Their sacrifice and dedicated effort was the inspiration to the JEriCHo team to emulate. Wayne Wentz, personally, should preside over the presentations, and the entire community should be invited. In commemoration of this cooperative effort, a Community Day party should be held each year on December 29th.
At least you have a sense of humor.
Why is that? I don't.
You don't have a sense of humor?
Not about this, Gloria.
Yeah, okay, I'll let it go.
But every year we had a surplus, and I personally kept on saying, "Well, gee whiz, if we're ending up with extra money at the end of the year," and I'm going to take this from a businessman standpoint because I've taken small business courses on myself, and even when I run my own classroom, I have budgetary money that I spend down. If I don't spend it, it goes somewhere else in capital reserve, or it gets put somewhere else, and maybe somebody gets a new chair out of it. Okay, but the bottom line is that's how it happens in a school district. Now wait,
Why?
Hear me? Why? I don't know, but I do
Lack of
know
goals
that
from
I
a district.
spend my money. Now wait, but at the end of the year, sitting here as a board member saying, "Geez, we didn't spend all our money in the district." That's when I started to voice my opinion and said, we don't need to raise taxes anymore. We got to stop. We got to stop because there's a hurting going on. You know, and I don't shop at the local stores anymore, and unfortunately. And if I was going to open a business again after I retire, I wouldn't do it in the Lehighton School District. I'd do it in another district, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't even think the property values in the Lehighton School District are gonna go up.